And welcome to DCCodingGames.com. Happy New Year! It's a 2024 and we are going to be doing City Skylines and how to create the perfect residential area. Now you could see there's a person here with their dogs and they're walking and they're very happy, and we are creating a very luxurious residential area here. So let's get to it. So the first thing is that you could see that I have a lot of demand for low density residential. This keeps increasing and you'll always find that you need this. The steps that I've noticed that have helped me create very good residential areas for low residential areas is creating this layout. Now the layout involves a grid, so you can make a grid like this. And then it involves all your roads like that around it. And then you can put roundabouts, etc. to improve things. And in the middle, you'd have probably, you could put more buildings or commercial areas. Or if you want, you can leave this. Maybe you could put a highway place here so that it gets rid of some of the traffic that you'll have going here. Maybe it just opens the fact that you can put commercial zones in these areas. So for example, the first thing I would do is I would get a path, and I would start making my paths here across here so that residents are able to actually access certain bits in the middle of the map. And then you'd maybe want to put another road here and another road there and another path here, providing easy access for, and then it also will decrease your traffic as well, because then your pedestrians, they don't have to go miles in their car to then get to commercial areas. It makes it very easy for them. And also having bus lanes where the lanes are going makes it easy access for them to go for their destination, which is great. So you might want to have bus lanes all along this route. I've had them inside the houses, but I've noticed actually maybe it's best to just have them on the main road with the buses, because then that would make them quicker. It would make the whole process of them picking up their customers quickly, because they don't really have that far to walk, you see, from there. So if you, for example, what we're going to do is we're going to put all of these green. But one thing you can do with this as well is put little checker areas. So like you could put little ones like this, because sometimes if you make them too big, you get this problem where they then say they've got high rent, which is not the greatest. And that means that you technically have your residential buildings a bit too big for them. Now the computer does it automatically. It will acquire the best ones for you, but by doing this it limits the amount of big houses that you're producing, and then the residents will be like, oh, I can't afford that. And then what you could do is then you could just then build like this. I mean, you can do that, or you could wait and then do it later. I have, for example, here they're happy, but their rent is too high, so the buildings and populations have trouble paying the rent. A higher zone density or different zoning might be needed. So if I got rid of it, and you see this sign, you get rid of it, and then you then acquire a bit differently. So you may want to get rid of all this initially. Might just want to have it like this. You play it, there we are, it's been built, and like that you have 3 houses. To make it look a bit nicer, you could just go into here and then put a couple of trees in the places that have not got a house there, and it just makes their area a bit more affordable. I've got the same trouble with quite a few bits of high rent areas here. So because I didn't do that process, it's becoming a problem for me. But Anyway, if you do that in the early stages, it will help depending how patient you are. Then what you want to do is you want to put your commercial areas down. Now, I've got a lane here, so maybe having them next to the lane would be good. But this is like more daily stuff. So the low density buildings are just your local supermarkets, restaurants, bars, etc. Then you get the bigger ones like the hotels and stuff for your larger densities. Now, in terms of large density ones, they'd probably be put into places where there are big sky-rise buildings, etc. You could put them here, but ideally you want it more in a place that is a bit busier. So, I mean, places that you can do that in, if you look, go into here, select this, and you'll see actually where the areas, if it's orange, it's a good location to put your commercial buildings there because there's quite a hustle here, or there's quite a lot of people going around here. In terms of here, there's not really, so you'd probably only put a few here and there because you do want some commercial buildings for your local stores and stuff for your residents. Another thing is always make sure the low residents are connected to a road, otherwise the zone won't build. Okay, so now I'm going to fast forward that, see how we get on. We have signature buildings. Now, signature buildings. So signature buildings, well, they are good because they will bring more happiness for the residential places. And then for your commercial signature buildings, well, they actually have different things like attractiveness, and then import costs, etc. are less. So they're quite good. And then your office buildings, they're good because they give you very good education and then more office efficiency, which is great. So always make sure that you also spread your signature buildings across your map so that they're not all in one location. Also, for commercial wise, you'd probably want to go for initially the most commercial area where it's the busiest, and for your offices next to the most office spaces maybe. You know what? For industrial and office areas, it doesn't really matter as long as you're happy where you put it. Maybe put it into a place where there is more unhappy people, if there is, because that will increase their happiness. Or if there is more crime rate, then put that there, depending on what the building does. So for instance, for this one, I'd maybe want to put it here. We could relocate them if you want later on too. So it's not, when you've placed them, you can move them later. We're doing well for profit, you see. And I'll show you why this actually method really works. Because if you look at my noise pollution, really there is nothing here except for the elementary school. Now, the elementary school you could put on a more of a busy road, but then they wouldn't be as close walking distance unless you have, for instance, a lane that goes through. It does create noise, yes, but it's up to you where you put it. I mean, if you don't want noise at all, then yeah, just relocate it, for example, here, and then it's actually still covered in a way here, and then that eliminates the whole problem here. And then you could put houses here. Another thing on policies you can do is that you can get these districts set up. Make sure in these zones where your residential areas are, you have recycling, parking, put that up to 50 always, you get more money for that. Look how much money I'm getting now. And look how much the services for my roads have been, because I've got so much, like, people just paying for parking and they never complain. So that's always good when they're parking on the road, so massively helps. So you could see they're really happy in here because there's no noise, all good. They've got speed bumps that reduces the sound of people coming in too, and they're gated, so that means that people who only live there or working there are allowed in. And because we don't have any commercial places in these zones, it makes it much more efficient. As long as you have these roads, as we put these lanes for people to walk to the busier streets, then they're happy because it's walking distance and they can get their supermarket stuff, whatever you need. Another thing you'd want to do initially at the start as well is, you notice I've got all my industrial area here. It's so separate from my residential areas, but it's close enough so that people can actually get in there. And one of the things I've done with the residential areas is I've made it gated, so only people who live there or work there, mainly work, because there's no residential area in there. And their parking, you always want to put to 50, as I said, and I put recycling, so it's making it more healthier for your residents. They don't go in there and get sick, etc., because of all the pollution and stuff. If you notice, your ground pollution all here, and air pollution is blowing away, because at the start of the game I put down this and I worked out, okay, all my pollution is going this way. And also I put a geothermal plant because this is more eco-friendly. I think it's better in terms of actually your profit, geothermal, so I put that down. The only problem I have is people going past here who might be going past the geothermal and getting a bit sick there. So if I was going to change things, I might want to move my highway stuff over to the right a bit so that there isn't so much pollution, etc. Now, after you've done all the work here, you want to make sure you've got enough schooling, etc. in this place. So the schooling is fine. The healthcare needs more. So we put one here, then it doesn't get in the way of the residents, and they're happy with that. And there is a lane there for them to go to the medical area. We could put additional spaces for more patients. Yeah, why not? And then we'll put more space for ambulances. All good. They're all happy. Fire engines, I don't need. Oh, this needs to be connected. This road here. Parks. Right, I always put small parks, to be honest. It's less upkeep, doesn't give you too much, and to be honest, people just don't complain like what you have. So make sure that you all got all your essentials. They're all happy with that. You might want to put some mail as well, and internet. Make sure that they've got enough internet. Seems like they do, so that's fine. And obviously bus routes. Well, that's it. I hope you liked that video, and later on I'd probably want to do a video maybe about industry or traffic flow. For example, I have some lack of high skill level labor here, and I might cover a bit more about the education side. But let me know what you want and I can do a video on that for sure. Leave a comment in the section below, tell me what you think. Any feedback or structured criticism would be great. And you can also get this game on the Game Pass PC at the moment. I think it is coming to the Xbox Game Pass soon, but not quite yet. I don't know when. I think maybe later on this quarter, maybe next quarter. And also you can get this on my website at dccodinggames.com. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. This really helps out my channel, and this would be great actually. So do let me know, and see you on the next one.